Hey there, welcome to a review of the Mammut Energy Ultra Mid GTX. First thing I noticed when I pulled these out of the box is that they're big shoes to film. I had to use my wide angle lens just to get them in the frame. And yes, I have gotten some comments wearing them. They're big, not just in the sense that they're bulky, that heel stacks up in a way that makes regular sneakers look downright flat by comparison. And that design is deliberate, of course, and it comes directly from trail running. Mammut has essentially taken the max cushion rocker sole concept that brands like HOKA have popularized in running shoes and translated it into a hiking boot. The rocker rolls your foot forward through each step rather than relying on you to push off, and that does feel a bit strange at the start, but you do get used to it pretty quickly. So where does the Energy Ultra Mid GTX sit in Mammut's lineup? Because Energy is now a whole family and it's worth understanding what it is that you're actually buying. At the bottom of the range, you have the Energy Hike, a comfortable cushioned day hiking shoe. Step up and you get the Energy MTN or Mountain, more protective, aimed at a rugged terrain where you want a shoe that can take some punishment. And then at the top of the line says the Ultra. This is the performance tier, a trail running DNA, a Flextron stability shank, maximum stack height. It is for fast hikers, people looking to cover serious distance. The mid version, which is what I've been testing, adds ankle support and a bit more weather protection. The low version of the Ultra is lighter and a little more nimble. Everything else is identical. First taking these out of the box, I remember liking the wider fit, clearly designed with proper hiking socks in mind, which is how I personally like it. The midfoot is noticeably stiff. You notice that right away, and that is that Flextron shank doing its job, stabilizing movement and channeling energy into the toe off. So it's important to know that this is a fundamentally different principle than a traditional hiking boot. It actually uses the same logic behind those carbon plate shoes that have been making marathons faster over the last decade. And instead of supporting your foot's natural movement, they kind of stiffen the whole platform and let the rocker geometry do the rolling for you. Your foot actually doesn't need to flex in the middle because the shoe is doing it for you through that built-in propulsion plate. And that means that this is a different beast than something like a HOKA and Anacapa. They look quite similar, both max cushioned, rockered Gore-Tex shoes with Vibram outsoles. But while the HOKA is flexible through the midfoot and moves with your foot, the Mammut stiffens the whole platform and uses that Flextron shank to drive the movement mechanically. So if you want a shoe that cooperates with your natural gait, go with something traditional, go with something like a HOKA. If you don't mind the shoe taking over and doing some of the work for you, then Mammut is a great choice. And for long distance efficiency, for most people, that's going to be a net positive. Probably less so for short scrambles where you want your foot to flex naturally around the terrain, situations where you want that ground feel. Also, perhaps for people with flat feet or overpronation, they may find that geometry doesn't quite suit their gait. And very important, these do require some transition time. Not unlike something like a zero drop shoe, I beg you, don't buy these 2 days before a big hike. That rocker shape and that extreme heel stack do change your biomechanics. They change how you hike. And if you go straight from a conventional boot and start hammering away long distances, don't be surprised if you run into shin splints. Build up gradually like I did, give your legs time to adapt, and you'll be golden. Now, testing these in the field, I found performance to be excellent. I really do like them. And there is 2 extra logos on them, Gore-Tex and Vibram. And I was most excited about the Vibram outsole because I've had great experiences with those in the past. And it does deliver the goods here as well. Reliable on wet rock, reassuring on loose terrain, and of course, lots and lots of cushioning. One thing I did not care for much are the laces. They are quite thin. They seem a bit out of place on such a chunky boot. And I'm also not sure about the mesh cover over the laces. I mean, is this just for aesthetics or is it supposed to keep dust and debris out? It doesn't seem to solve any problem that I've had, and it makes it difficult to adjust the lower laces once the shoe is on, and it makes replacing the laces more complicated than it should be. It's not a deal breaker, it's just a bit over-designed. Also good to know is that these shoes run warm, which in cold conditions is of course exactly what you want. Gore-Tex may be marketed as breathable, but it's still a sealed liner. And with this much sole between you and the ground, summer hiking is going to be a sweaty affair, especially if you have naturally sweaty feet. Shoulder seasons and wet conditions are where these shine. A touch of frost, no problem. For summer, especially the kind of crazy hot summer that we've been having, there is something to be said for a non-GTX version. Wrapping up, this is something different, and it did honestly take me some time to get used to, but over the course of the, I think now hundreds of kilometers put on them, I have been very happy with them. The laces are a minor annoyance, but I do love the fit. I love that performance and the cold weather capabilities on display. All right, that's all I've got. I hope that was helpful, and I will see you in the next one.